I think when they monitored the sentiments of Ghanaians upon the ruling of the Court of Appeal, then I see this as an afterthought, and the backlash and the pressure that they are attempting to even appeal against the decision of the Court of Appeal. And me, I worry. You see, the biggest mistake that for me we made in 2024 was giving the NDC a supermajority. I won't wish even that for the NPP in the next general election.
They thought that President Mahama presented something new. That's why they joined them. Now they are faced with the reality. You see, what the NDC is doing is very calculated, and nobody seems to be paying attention. I'm going to tell you this. All these people who thought they had found a new home in the NDC, to come back home, the NPP remains your home. Look, we may not be perfect, but some of these things, we will not do them.
Do you trust the Attorney General when he says he's going to mount a spirited appeal in this matter at the Supreme Court?
Look.
Honorable Sammi Awuku have been making some bold statements with regards to Sedina Tamakloe, former MASLOC CEO, in case, Now, or just say the mistake Ghana for a year during the 2024 elections, ni say Omuma NDC for the super majority, overwhelming majority or parliament, enu a very big mistake onu on which she say onuni party NPP krano omunya sa majority na say that super majority and wama nchechemu with regards to Sedina Tamakloe case mekom na ma brief explanation to Sedina Tamakloe case the way I echo and I said the way I echase ni nyina mema a few way background story about that, but before that Honorable Baffour Awuah oye Menchia South MP onu nso de bi abeka ho onu nso kire say MPP for mu nyina mu jai party na say mu a mukotu abama MDC for during 2024 election nyina no on him say MPP for no honestly omu ye niam baako bi a antwa ye enu nti na mukoye but sebe ye a munsambra back every say the way niam elko no de enye kra ye per unity party no musana Baffour Awuah honorable editor udwa ni nyina no nsem a yebeko akohwe. Subscribe to the channel no ma na click on bell notification icon so se na be a video bi am betumu bia no woni first person obanya notification na wahwe uwia like video no na share mo before so na onhwe na odu adwindwe so afa comment section no amame quickly no yebeko akotie honorable Sammi Awuku nsem a editor udwa a ochese onunu onhwe anase on wishi kra say onuni party NPP kra enya super majority parliament if we say ba na sa na nia odi share honum no yentie no bra na ye ba Sedina Tamakloe case no nia kosi ye ni nyina no mabo nchemu kakra ya wi na akohwe honorable Baffour Awuah onu nso no nsem a odi tu dwa no ebra.
I was surprised to read a statement from the Honorable Attorney General that the office of the Attorney General has been drawn to. They're supposed to be in court. It's a matter of the AG or that's the Republic versus Madam Sedina Tamakloe. So if it's the Republic versus Sedina Tamakloe, and there's going to be a Court of Appeal ruling, and the Attorney General says that my attention or the office of the Attorney General's attention has been drawn to it, then it's indeed, first of all, worrying. Secondly, I think when they monitored the sentiments of Ghanaians upon the ruling of the Court of Appeal, then I see this as an afterthought, and the backlash and the pressure that they are attempting to even appeal against the decision of the Court of Appeal. My respected colleague, the Honorable Baffour Awuah of Menchia South, has clearly spoken on the matter and eloquently drilled down the issues. I think that this government is, first of all, not committed. That's one. Number two, you also have a long list of people that since they came, either the cases were discontinued, withdrawn, nolly prosequa, and a whole lot of it. So I don't know the kind of charade that they are engaged in. And it makes really nonsense of the various cases and trumped up charges against the former appointees of President Akufo-Addo. And me, I worry. You see, the biggest mistake that for me we made in 2024 was giving the NDC a supermajority. I won't wish even that for the NPP in the next general election. any party that wins the general elections, I would prefer that at least let the Ghanaian people give them a good majority to rule. But don't give them an overwhelming majority where there's so much culture of impunity. They target even an establishment, deals with it. I mean, look at the way a certain Chief Justice was removed, with absolutely no regard for even the processes. So I worry. And well, unfortunately, it's a democracy. In this day and age, you cannot topple a government with guns because we've moved on from the military era. But if it's a democracy, my advice will be that any future elections for a government or an administration, be it NPP or any other party, don't give that party a 2/3 majority that they can even temper with the spirit and letter of the Constitution as well. Today, you have state institutions and occupants of very sensitive positions within the state security and investigative body architecture. They post bill bonds that sometimes you don't even know whether to go for the sea or go for the airport. And all these things is clearly an affront to the administration of justice. If you don't take care, you are weaponizing bail conditions, because when you take it to court as well, they are clear and fortified in their belief that they will be able to bamboozle their way through. And that for me is worrying. And then as a member of parliament, sometimes you sit in the chamber. And you hear some of the things going on. Some of the government can even bring bills asking for approval of loans. They won't even tell you how much it's for and the repayment period, because they have supermajority. And I think that for me, if there was one thing that post 2024 going forward, the nation must sit down, ponder, and reflect over it, is that supermajority that you give to one party. No, I'm not talking about in the perspective of even NPP. Even NPP, I won't wish for NPP getting 189 seats. Never. Because you can have the person at a point in time taking the whole country for a ride. Now, if you speak against the government, TikTokers, young people, you see, the danger with this government is that these Gen Zs, they were born with a handset. So you arrest one, you are hardening the other. They are asking for a 24-hour economy, not a 24-hour arrest. So instead of those asking for jobs, don't give them jail sentences in return.
Okay, and in summer, Honorable Sammi Awuku edit to journey out say Sanya ebana say party bakun enya da super majority na. Yes, ana ube constitution na ya 200 niamaniama no. Omu to me tempano in favor of omoa entinu. Yes, ana and to me emboa omainu any ade entinu. Onu ne party cry as a party nu as a NPP party no krano. On which he says ombe winning 2028 election as any election krana. Omu winning super majority sa. And to another say a big mistake Ghana for say omuma NDC for that majority and I say super majority. Na then I say Sedina Tamakloe, former MASLOC CEO no, the time MPP for Aban was na ni case no eba ya omutumi extradited no edi ba ya omudi ni case ni nyina no na say odi for ni ade no ekoba ni say sisi ana NDC for ba no musa etna na asem so na the way a case ni call na say the reasons are court ni di ema ni say na the way a omu extradited no edi ba Ghana no na there was no, and I say there wasn't sufficient evidence etumi ebema ya tumi extraditing ediaba na ya nyina nim say before answer na obi ebetumi extraditing aba Ghana na and I say ebetumi extraditing from outside aba say na ebetumi adi ni nsem ni ade no e just say wo enough evidence eno be na aye your former finance minister Ken Oforiatta ni die no sisi akoba ni say your mind and say state ni any enough evidence on betumi e dey extraditing aba Ghana entino sana court ni e dey aye Sedina Tamakloe case no eni enam so ama ejina aye attorney general esi oko appeal case no enu ena nkrofo kika say debi case na why na agin say oko appeal no because of the backlash Ghana for ediama with regards to the decision na court na Attionu Tamakloe in Semino and until na why na agin say oko appeal for that particular case no. And if these things happen now, then now it's a lose for Ghana because we all want fairness. Se obia afa consequence bi a odi asay omani sika na say ye the position bi ama no e wo abamu na wan sheda an handle na ma ye na wo say on face the court na e wo say enye fairly regardless of ni party affiliation say na be ya nyina e be hu say truly this government is really fighting against corruption and I say boa ama katashani proeno esu atwa and I say omo involved in such ni nyina no ye betumi abom because utie honorable Sammi Awuku nsema okan HSA the way this government con with regards to ebanu katashani proye in same way na akoye say NDC 4 cases bebrebe na ewo ni nyina no oba ye no anase omo ba ye no omo agya isa cases ni bi mebimu no omo agya trade omo kan wasem bi mebimu ho no no a omo aye no some way bi but aba no opposition there na omo are very stronger omo fight against that and enu na embo no enu enti na okan say onu ane party NPP kra no on we she says omo ba power bi kra na omo nya super majority ewo parliament sa if say sa nya ma no emboa etumima other opposition party no na say the ruling government no etumi eye inside bebre or constitution mu na at the end enu sa no entumi emboa oman no
Detect it. We predicted it. We predicted it. The sequence, as we predicted, has played out as we predicted. And so clearly, is a manifestation of exact prediction that we played out. It's however unfortunate, but this is a clear evidence that the reset only meant a reset for the NDC. That's what it meant. At this point, what I am going to do is to appeal to the middle class who have been with us, who for some reason were angry with us, that the MPP remains their home. They should come. Let's correct all our wrongs and build the MPP to meet their aspiration. It is the only party that, with the greatest of respect, has the ideas, has the true philosophy that has stood the test of time. In every democracy, political parties may have one or two aberrations at some point. And when it so happens, particularly those that are deep-rooted in history and philosophy, right, we correct them. At this point, I'm calling on all the middle class that the NDC remains what it truly is. True deception has been their foundation from history, and they have done it again. It is playing out. Everything shows that they remain who they have been. The reset was only a yarn which they pulled through our eyes just to get power. Look, everybody that was having one challenge or the other with the law, they have freed that person from their stock to the extent that they are using the judiciary at this point where necessary. And so, with the greatest of respect, I am calling all the civil society organizations, our middle class sympathizers, that look, come back home. Come back home. The MPP is truly the party for you. The MPP is truly the party for you. We may have committed certain errors at some point, but we believe that together we can correct all the wrongs and remain the party of choice that meets your aspiration. The NDC is not an option. It can't change. It can't change.
Quickly, do you trust the Attorney General when he says he's going to mount a spirited appeal in this matter at the Supreme Court?
Look, he's doing that because this was not received well, particularly by some of the people from our stock who had joined them, from the middle class and the CSOs. We saw Dr. Mantiao's reaction on social media. We've seen a couple of them on social media. The people from our stock who thought that they had found a new home, a new America, which meets their aspiration, the land for the free. They thought that President Mahama presented something new. That's why they joined them. Now they are faced with the reality. You see, what the NDC is doing is very calculated, and nobody seems to be paying attention. I'm going to tell you this. This whole thing is a sequence. They planned the date for the judgment such that it will meet the issuance of the white paper on the constitutional review, deliberately accept the reduction of the age for the president to 39, so they think that the youth will celebrate 35, so that the youth will celebrate it. Now, accept the dual nationality proposal, so that the dual nationals who are also from our stock and thought that they had found a new home, the Professor Kweku Azaz, the Professor H. Kwesi Prempers, who thought they had found a new home with the NDC, so that they will embrace it. And then the discussion on Sedina and Tamakloe will go away. No, we are going to stay there. It exposes who they are. We are pleading with all these people who thought they had found a new home in the NDC to come back home. The MPP remains your home. Look, we may not be perfect, but some of these things, we will not do them. President Kufuor prosecuted and convicted Malamisa. President Kufuor ensured that when the Yendi disaster, when the Yendi conflict broke out, he sacked certain ministers from his government who he thought that there were some issues, right? We are the party, right, that has those principles. Yes, of course, I'm not saying that it's been like that throughout. We have deviated at some point. But when you deviate, there's room for correction. And so we can correct ourselves. And so our brothers who thought that the NDC was going to do something new, please, come back home. Come back home. They haven't changed. They can't change. It's the same NDC from old.
Entino, in Zambia, omunina omudi etu jandi. Aha, ena minu wesi. Subscribe to the channel, no me click on bell notification icon so send be ya any story be am betu mu bia no. Only first person obanya notification na wahwe we are like video na share mo before so no anhwe. Na any thought bia wo anase any adventure bia wo no. Feel free na fafa comment section ho enfama me. Me so meji bre na ma kinkan na mama reply so send be ya comment section ho be ye de. Me pese amuma comment section ho enye de. Nah, stay tuned for my next video. Bye bye.